So I know sometimes the information that is out here, especially about federal student loan borrowers that are in default with collection efforts resuming or resumed rather. But one thing that's important to know, because when it comes to a defaulted federal student loan, that means that a payment has not been made for at least 9 months for it to go into a default status. But what's more important to know is that, first and foremost, when we went into the COVID-19 payment pause, a lot of borrowers just were not connected to their student loan account. They just were not connected to it. And then coming out of that payment pause, you're like, okay, good. Everything was good. I didn't have to make any payments. You think things clear themselves up. Well, what happens is that defaulted status is reinstated. And what that means for a borrower whose defaulted status was reinstated and who's not connected to their student aid account, now we got these collection efforts that are happening. But there are still processes and procedures that have to be followed by not only the Department of Education, but the loan servicers as well. When you are in a default status, and when it's got deferment and forbearances that are connected to it, some of you may have actually reached out to your loan servicer and requested some type of hardship, deferment or forbearance, things of that nature. And it depends on when those statuses were applied. First and foremost, when it comes to deferment or forbearance, just to sum it up, these two things are just basically on how interest is applied. On a deferment, that means that interest doesn't accrue on certain types of loans. On a forbearance, it's going to accrue on all loans. But it's important to know when those things were requested, because let's say that you did request a hardship, forbearance or deferment, and they did not apply it properly. Because the way that they apply these things is based on when, the condition happened. So when you have that hardship or whatever the case may be, when it actually happened, not always based on when the application was submitted. So you want to know, when did those things take place? When was the documentation provided? What does the documentation say? If there was something that you had to provide from a doctor or whatever, to see when they actually put that in and what it was based off of. And you want to have access to those records, and you have the right to request that information from the Department of Education, from your loan servicer, to know how these things were applied, how these forbearances were applied, how these deferments were applied, what the date was, all of that. I know it's a lot, y'all, but we still, there's still rights and there's still procedures and processes to all of this. Just make sure that you are, exercising all of yours and knowing exactly how to do so.